Scrappy friends, it's Audrey. Thanks for stopping by. It's day 9 of 'Tis the Season, 12 days of holiday scrapping. I can't believe we're on day 9 already. I am using some cut files from Confessions of a Paper Addict today. Also joining me are Virginia and Lori every day for the 12 days, and then a couple other guest designers who I will link in the descriptions below. So I am using this adorable cut file from Virginia's store, Confessions of a Paper Addict, and it is a train with tracks, and I loved the circular tracks. So I didn't want to make like one huge track on the page. I just kind of wanted the tracks to be subtle. I have two 3x4 photos, and then I was debating whether or not I'm going to use the little train, so I decided to make it a little bit bigger and turn it around here, and I'm going to kind of lay out my circles some way like that. So once those cut, I was very nervous. The smaller tracks, I had to actually punch out some of the bits inside because the lines were so thin. This cut file wasn't made to cut that small, but I really wanted that look. But they came out okay. There are a few tears in there, which you won't see in the final product anyway. So, but yeah, I would not recommend going any smaller than like a 3 or 4 inch circle with that particular cut file. And because I'm going to back each circle with pattern paper, I just went into a 6x6 paper pad. I think this is called Comfort and Joy. I'm pretty sure it's My Mind's Eye, maybe? Is it? Yeah, it was My Mind's Eye. I just saw it there. This is an old paper pack I got in a kit a long time ago, but I love the plaids, and these papers have a little bit of glitter in them. I know you can't, like that Christmas tree paper right there is, every Christmas tree is like a minty green glitter. It's really, really pretty. And then these other ones I'm using have some glitter in them as well. So I kind of traced the inside circle of, my kids were playing a game and having me play with them. That's what that marble is for. So I traced the inside circle of the cut file, and it's a little bit wonky, but I'm just gonna go around and trim it afterwards. I'm not trying to get it perfect. When I tried to trace around it, because the paper circle is kind of flimsy, it was hard to get a perfect circle there. So I'm just making some small marks just to kind of get an estimate, so I don't have too much to trim. But I love the way this came out. I was really unsure about this at first, especially using the black cut file and then filling it with pattern papers. I didn't know how it was going to look, but, and this is so stupid, but I kind of thought, oh my gosh, what if I like make this black cut file and put it on this pattern paper like this, and it kind of looks like a COVID. I know that's so weird, but like, you know, we see so many images of like the COVID virus now, these little spikes on the outside, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I hope it doesn't look like that. But it doesn't look like that at all. So, but when I was putting that in Silhouette Studio, I was thinking that. So I'm going to use a couple of the different plaids, and then kind of like a pine tree one, and then a mint green one, and I just love these colors together, so super pretty. And after I get the circles backed, I will go and back my little train as well. Okay, I like that. I know these photos look exactly the same, but if you look closely, you'll see that the one on the right, the train is in there, and it's hard to see from this distance, but you can see my dad and my son's heads are kind of following the train around the circle, so it's pretty fun. Okay, so for the little choo-choo train, when I back it, I'm gonna make a little window in the train. It comes with a little window, but I decided to put some acetate in the window, and so that's what you can see there on the right. I put the little window frame and acetate, and I'll let that dry. And I'm just gonna use the back of this pattern paper. I was gonna do the train all in solid black, but I'm like, you know what, this pattern paper is kind of cute. It is still dark. You get the idea. Okay, so there's my train I finished. Isn't that so cute? I cut out the inside of the window frame on the pattern paper with just an X-Acto knife. And then you would think I've learned my lesson with these Nuvo drops, how they kind of crack when I add too much thickness. But of course I'm going to go add some more, so I add a little bit of black at the top and then some little tiny red dots in the wheels. So that came out super cute. I decided to back my photos with a dark green mat to kind of pick up. There's a little bit of dark green in this red plaid that I'm using right now. You can't really see it from this distance, but if you looked closely, it's mixed in there with the black portion. So this part was a little tricky because, again, the cut file lines were so thin. that there wasn't a lot of area to glue to the pattern paper, so it was a little bit tricky to get this just right. So I did all those, and those are going to sit off to the side. So I'm going to do some mixed media on my background now, and I'm going to use a clear gesso because I did not want white. I love the look of white on craft paper, but I'm going to do a dark green, and I just didn't want the white to show too much. So I will paint that on and then let that dry. And I am using a couple Distress Oxides. This one is something like Brushed Sage or something like that. And it goes on really pretty, but it kind of dries on the craft paper, kind of chalky. You can see it drying there. I mean, I guess that's what Distress Oxides are. They are a little bit more chalky, but I wish it had more green in it when it dried, so it didn't really. So I'm also using some shimmers in Pining For You, I think this is called. And to make it a little bit darker green, I spritzed a little bit of a dark blue. It's called Dancing in the Rain. And that will just give me more of a pine green color, which is what I was going for. And I'm just going to use the packaging technique and go in a couple different areas. And then this one's called Lucky Clover. And that's a little too bright, I think. I'm going to tone that down a little bit with some blue. I love that color. That's really pretty. And you saw my cutting mat in the top right up there working. So while I'm doing some splatters, I had decided I wanted to add a few pine branches. So I went back to the Confessions of a Paper Addict store, and I don't show you this process, but I used a cut file called Build a Wreath, and it has a whole bunch of little pine branches. So I cut out a whole bunch of pine branches. By the way, you can see I've put my circles and everything back on the page. It's nothing stuck down yet. I'm just kind of arranging things. I just wanted to have a few bits of pine sticking out to make it kind of look a little bit more Christmassy. And I loved how that looked. I love how the train came out. I love the circles. I love the pine branches. And now I got to find some embellishments. And I don't want to overdo it because I really just want the train and the circles to kind of stand out. So I wanted to use joy in my title because that is what I see when I see my dad. So this is my dad, and these are his trains, and that he gifted me and each of my brothers, I have two brothers, a train set. I mean, he has a ton of trains from when he was a little boy. This train set, he is pretty certain, was either 1937 or 1939. So we were really lucky to have. Well, he has more than three. We each got one. Me and my two siblings, but he has more at home. So he has a huge collection of Lionel trains. But anyway, it's super nice to have him come and help us set him up, and my kids love to play with them, and still has the old transformer and everything. And I think he still gets so much joy out of seeing it, and he will just sit there and watch this train go round and round and round. So, and I love him. I love seeing him, do that with the kids. Okay, so what else have I done? I found a couple stars I've put on there. I was looking for a couple other circular elements. I was thinking that underneath the word joy, I would have to ground it a little bit and then maybe have a place to journal. And then I took the Mary banner that I had off. I had like a little a banner piece, and then I put this red one in place. It says, "It's the most wonderful time of the year," and I stuck it down on my photos, and I was going to pop it up, but then I realized it was too sticky, and now I can't get it back off the photos. So, anyway, just pushing things around here and kind of getting the circles just right, how I want them. This little Deck the Halls tab, or die cut I'm working on right now, is the exact same pattern as the background paper, and I kind of liked that because it kind of still blends in with the circle. Okay, do I like this? Yes, I like this. And I'm just going to play around with those branches. I first had them coming out the front of the train, and that looked kind of dumb, like the train was running them over. So I'll put a little one on top of the train, and then I had this idea, these puffy stickers. I'm going to put a Santa in the window. So this is my favorite thing about the page, the Santa in the window of the train. So I stuck it to the background, and I had to position it just right to make sure that that's exactly where I wanted the train engine. And so I'm going to leave Santa there in the train. So cute. And you can see I'm trying not to move my circles. I'm trying to just leave them as they are and glue underneath them and then just set them down so that I don't mess up everything and get it in the wrong place. And I had to keep gluing this track down a little bit because, again, it wasn't really sticking to the background paper well, but you cannot tell that in the final product. Okay, so here's where I realized, oops, this banner sticker, yep, that's stuck to the photos. I ain't getting that off. I was going to pop it up, give it a little dimension, but that's not happening. It's just going to stick on the photos. But I will pop the photos up with some craft foam. And it's kind of good they're stuck together because then they're in the exact same position that I put them in when I put the layout down. Okay, so those are stuck to the page. I do love the green background here on the craft. It's just, with the craft, well, first of all, I used the craft because I didn't want white. I thought it would be too much of a contrast with the black. And I wanted something kind of, I don't know, earthy feeling, and I love that brown with the plaids and the pine branches. It's just really Christmassy to me. So all the little things, little stars I have to make sure that I glue them down with adhesive as well because they don't stick very well to the gesso in the background. You can also see on the train I put a little red bow by the smokestack. And now I just have to put these delicate leaves around in different positions. I just realized that I had meant to put some white splatters on the background too. I forgot to do that, but it's totally fine. Okay, so I think I have all those down. I'm going to leave a branch over on the right to kind of put with my title. And I get rid of that other circle there just because I wanted the circles with the train tracks to kind of stand out the most. So I got rid of that other circle. And I will glue this title down. I love these letters. These are super cute. I think this is a, maybe this is in my mind's eye as well. Again, all this stuff came in a kit. Actually, most of the stuff came in a kit together that I've had for a while. So it's good to use it. This stupid dot to the J in the joy got stuck underneath my fingernail and I couldn't get it down there. I added a few black stars. I added my journaling. I added a little wreath to the train as well, tiny wreath. So there you can see the mixed media and the stars. There's my little train with Santa. Isn't he so cute? Yeah, I love this page. I love the memory of this page especially. This is what scrapbooking is about to me, capturing these kinds of moments and these memories. So I did add a few other circles too, red circles, a joy circle, and then a piece of flair that said Merry Christmas. Thank you so much for stopping by today. It is day 9. Please go check out the other ladies' pages as well and stay scrappy. Happy holidays.